Hello, everyone. I just wanted to discuss Chapter 4, Practice Set A. If you look at what is assigned, the workload is a lot less than usual. Um, in the past, the practice sets took a lot longer than I thought they would be. Labyrinth Learning estimated that it should take less than 2 hours, but I noticed a lot of you took a lot more time than that. So I lightened the workload, and this is what we have today. So, first off, we have calculating taxable earnings for Social Security tax. If you look at that situation, you find taxable earnings, there's different situations you'd run into the 4-1. Either you subtract cafeteria plans, the amount from the gross pay the cafeteria plan would be given, or another case would be taxable earnings would equal to gross pay minus dependent care flexible spending accounts. The dependent care flexible spending account amount would be the gross pay multiplied by the percentage that would be given. Also, taxable earnings could also be the gross pay minus the flexible spending account minus the dependent care flexible spending account. So, the flexible spending account would be a given amount, and then you'd calculate the dependent care flexible spending account the same way you would here, where you multiply gross pay by the given percentage. And also, there could be a case where the taxable earnings would equal to the gross pay. Another section in this assignment is defining miscellaneous deductions. You'd have to look in your textbook to find the information on that. Um, as for the employee earnings records, you have three employees. You should be calculating various items like the Social Security tax, Medicare tax, and whatnot. So I'm just going to take a look at practice set C, which is really similar. Um, as you see here, I didn't assign any payroll registers, but you have the earnings records here for various employees. We calculated the Social Security tax, Medicare tax, retirement contribution, life insurance, all of that good stuff. So just to look at that, I wanted to review the Social Security tax first. If you look at the situation here, problem one, hope everyone can see that. Um, Ronald McCarthy earned a gross pay of $925. Each period he makes a 401 contribution of 6% of gross pay. His current year taxable earnings for Social Security tax to date is $29,500. If you look here in 4.2, how it's calculated, the Social Security tax is calculated with the gross pay of 925 multiplied by the 6.2% Social Security rate to get the Social Security tax of 5735. Um, as you see there. So in situation two, you have Jill Newton earned a gross pay of 2255. Does not make any retirement plan contributions. Her current year taxable earnings for security tax is 132,650. So that will be applied here. You take the 132,900 Social Security tax threshold, multiply that by the given 132,650 year-to-date taxable earnings, and then multiply that by 6.2% to find the Social Security tax of 1550. In situation three, we have here George Thomas earned a gross pay of 2575. Each period he contributes 4% of gross pay to the flexible spending account, and his current year taxable earnings for Social Security tax to date are 103,750. If we look at the solution here, number three, we take the 2575 given gross pay, we subtract the 2575 gross pay multiplied by the 4% flexible spending account contribution, and then you multiply that by the Social Security tax rate of 6.2%. That gives me a Social Security tax of 153.26. All right, so I wanted to look at the Medicare tax, how that would be calculated. In this case, let's look at problem one here. Mark Daly's filing status is married filing jointly, and he has a gross pay of 3,450. Each period he makes a 403b contribution of 9% of gross pay. His current year taxable earnings for Medicare tax to date are $312,500. So It would be simple as just taking the 3,450 taxable earnings, multiplying that by the 2.35% rate, and then you get a Medicare tax of 8108. And problem 2 here, Kurt Blaine, filing status single. He has earned a gross pay of 1950. Each period he makes a 401k contribution of 8% of gross pay and contributes 4% of gross pay to a dependent care flexible spending plan. His current year taxable earnings for Medicare tax to date are $199,022.5. So if I look here, the gross pay is given, right? The dependent care flexible spending plan is multiplied by the gross pay, 1950 times 4%, to get the dependent care flexible spending plan of $78. To find the taxable earnings, you take that 1950 and you subtract $78 to get taxable earnings of 1872. So we go here. As you know, the current year taxable earnings for Medicare tax to date are $199,225. We take that amount, we subtract that with 200,000 to find the portion of taxable earnings below the additional Medicare wage based. We subtract those amounts to find that. Then, to find the portion of taxable earnings above the additional Medicare wage base, we take the $199,225. We add 1872, and then we subtract 200,000. As you know, 1872 is the taxable earnings. And then finally, we get the Medicare tax. We take the $775. We multiply that by 1.45%. And then we add the 1,097 from the previous, right? The portion of taxable earnings above the Medicare wage base. Multiply that by 2.35%, get a Medicare tax of 3702. So as you can see, you have to calculate two different amounts, right? The portion of taxable earnings below and above the additional Medicare wage base. Multiply those by the percentages given here, 1.45%, 2.35%. Find the sum to get a Medicare tax of 3702. Problem 3 of the Medicare tax. Adam Webster, filing head of household, and he has earned a gross pay of $850. Each period he contributes $35 to the flexible spending plan. His current year taxable earnings for Medicare tax to date are $75,500. If you go here, the gross pay is given, right? $850 right here. The flexible spending plan is also given at $35. To find the taxable earnings, we subtract that. 815 minus 35 to get 815. And then we take the 815 multiplied by the Medicare tax of 1.45% to get a Medicare tax of 1182. So for problem 4, we have Keith Davidson, filing status is married, filing separately, gross pay of 2,200. Each period he makes a 403b contribution of 2% gross pay and contributes $125 to a cafeteria plan. His current year taxable earnings for Medicare tax to date is $223,700. So the gross pay is given, $2,200, cafeteria plan, $125. To find the taxable earnings, we just subtract those two amounts, $2,200 minus $125, to get a taxable earnings of $2,075. Get the Medicare tax, multiply that amount by 2.35% to get a Medicare tax of $4,876. Another thing I wanted to cover is the FICA taxes. So if we look here, look at problem 1. There's quite a few things to cover here. Look at problem 1. Christopher Jones, filing status is qualifying widower, gross pay of $1,550. Each period he makes a 401k contribution of 8% and makes a contribution of 4% of gross pay to a flexible spending account. His current year taxable earning for Social Security tax and Medicare tax to date are $249,700. So if you look here, the taxable earnings not listed. The year-to-date earnings exceeds the wage base, right? So that's not going to be listed. Social Security tax is zero because of that as well. But the gross pay given is $1,550. We multiply that by 4% to get a flexible spending account of 62. Then we subtract that amount to find the taxable earnings for Medicare tax. We take that 1,550 minus 62 to find this amount here. And then we take this amount of taxable earnings for Medicare tax, multiply by 2.35% to get a Medicare tax of $34.97. So that concludes the video for now. Stay tuned for part 2 of the Chapter 4 practice set A. A lot to be covered. I'll be using practice set C to cover various parts of the different problems you'll be covering. Thank you for watching.